أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي، بمحمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم. Doctrine number 10, Predetermination and Divine Decree. The sect of Mujabbirah. The sect of Mujabbirah. Here, fatalists argue that Almighty Allah is entirely responsible for the actions of His creatures. The good actions and the evil actions. Allah is what entirely He is responsible about this. And the creatures are not meant by this issue. They are just like a tool. It is therefore He who forced them to do evil and yet punishes them for it, and He forces others to be obedient to Him and yet rewards them for it. They have also maintained that the actions of His creatures are in reality His actions, but these actions are attributed to them figuratively because they are the locus of His activity. The reason for this view is that definitely those fatalists, they have what? They have their support, they have their proof, their evidence from where? From Quran. From Quran, not by themselves. And definitely from Quran, I mean they took one verse and they explain it according to their wills, not according to the reality. Yes, others to be obedient to Him and yet rewards them for it. They have also maintained that the actions of His creatures are in reality His actions, but these actions are attributed to them figuratively because they are the locus of His activity. The reason for this view is that the Mujabbirah fatalists have denied the natural causation of things that take place, and that it Almighty Allah who is one and only cause of all things. Of course, those who adopt such a view ascribe injustice to Almighty Allah. He is far above such false ascription. Another sect, the Mufawwidah, Interminists. The Interminists argue that Almighty Allah has given absolutely authority. Look, absolute authority, the whole authority, to the creatures to do whatever they do, and removed His act and determination from their acts. This is because these indeterminists believe that to ascribe all actions to Almighty Allah results in ascribing imperfection to Allah. And all extant being have their own causes, even though all these causes stem from the Creator of all causes and the first cause, namely Almighty Allah. That means they are what? They are doing everything without the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without the ability of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As a matter of fact, those who adopt this conception have cancelled out the full power of Almighty Allah over all things and have decided a partner to Him in creation. With reference to this point, we follow what we have received from our immaculate Imams alayhim salam, who have decided that the answer is in reality between the two extremes, and our amrun bayna amrayn, and our belief is a middle view between fatalism and indeterminism. Fatalism and indeterminism. Our belief is not accepted by both groups of theologians, as some neglect the reality of the matter while others go to other extreme. However, after several countries, science and philosophy finally came to the same conclusion. It is not surprising that some of those who have had no familiarity with wisdom and maxims of the holy Imams alayhim salam think that the notion of middle course in this issue has been one of the discoveries of some. Nowadays, some people or the ulama of the other sects, what they said that the middle course between the two, between fatalist and indeterminism, it is the creators of one of the Western ulama, of the Western scientists. While Imam al-Sadiq, he said this before 13 centuries. Some late Western philosophers, the fact is that our holy Imams alayhim salam, having founded this principle, preceded all others by about 10 countries. Our Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam has demonstrated this middle course through his famous words: لا جبر ولا تفويض ولكن أمر بين أمرين. There is neither compulsion by Almighty Allah on doing things, nor there is absolute delegation of power, tafwid. Rather, it is a course in the middle of these two courses. What a marvelous significance this saying holds. How exact its meaning is. To sum it up, this middle course means that our deeds are on one hand ours in reality, because we are their natural causes and they are under our power and choice, and on other hand they are under the authority and within the absolute power of Almighty Allah, because He is the grantor of existence. And this is what we meant, existence of all things. This is what we meant, He is a God. So everything is in His hand, everything is under His control. Almighty Allah has not forced us to do these deeds, therefore He will not wrong us when He punishes us for the acts of disobedience to Him that we committed, as long as we had the power and choice to avoid doing what we did. Similarly, He has not entrusted us with making of our deeds. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not forcing us to do these things, whether they are good or evil, in order to say that these deeds are belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we have just forced by Him. So there is no reason for Him to judge us and to leave us to let us to be punished in hellfire. And not at the same time, He is not forcing us to do the good deeds against our wills. We do not want to make the good deeds. We want to make the evil deeds. But because of Him, He forced us to do what? To do the good things. And then He put us where? And He rewarded us where? To heaven, to paradise. So Shia people, they have something different. We have the choice, we can choose the acts, but even these acts, even these deeds are under the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah in all cases, He is not out of such thing. Therefore, we are not out of His absolute power and authority. Indeed, creation, judgment, and management of all affairs are His, and He has full power over all things, and He encompasses all things. Anyhow, we believe that predetermination, qada, and divine decree are within the secrets of Almighty Allah. One must thus recognize them as suitably as possible by means of neither immoderation nor negligence. It is not obligatory upon one who fails to recognize them properly to decide oneself to understanding and investigating them, because improper understanding of such suitable secrets will definitely lead to missing the reality and corrupting one's faith. So these issues, it does not belong to anybody to study. What you have to know as a follower, as adult, as a mukallaf, is all to know this, that you have the ability to choose, and your choice is not out of the control of Allah. If you are not a scholar, you cannot go and investigate and study. Why? Because definitely you will misunderstand. And if you misunderstand, that will corrupt your belief. And this is the most dangerous thing, the most risky things in one's life. They are in fact among the most accurate fields of philosophy that one can realize, except a very few people, scholars. Few people means scholars, and as a result, many the theologians, Ashab al-Kalam, have slipped while trying to argue these secrets. لاحظ أصحاب الكلام يعني من دول العلماء مو ناس عاديين, are within the secrets of Almighty Allah. One must thus recognize them as suitable as possible by means of neither immoderation nor negligence. It is not obligatory upon one who fails to recognize them properly to decide to dedicate oneself to understanding and investigating them, because improper understanding of such subtle secrets will definitely lead to missing the reality and corrupting one's faith. They are in fact among the most create fields of philosophy that none can realize except a very few people, and as a result, many theologians have slept. We explain this. I hope that you understand this, inshallah. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل